we've got a lot of universities online watching, and they're all asking the same question. So your views on how best to get their academics, as experts, as commentators, onto stations like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, we really want to be the station of experts. I think that's really important to us, because that's what I think we're trying to be. If you turn onto the Times Radio at any time, you should be hearing a clever presenter thinking about something important, talking to people who know what they're going to talk about. So getting in touch with us, our editorial team, it'd be very straightforward. I can give you some names afterwards that you can share. But it's a small team. Again, we make a virtue of that. So you won't be in a vast long queue of people having to think about it. It'll be 3 or 4 people who you can speak to. I think all we want is people who are good on air. And I know this again from the TLS. There is a Venn diagram of very clever academics and academics who can write really well, and you want that thing in the middle, because you don't want an academic, and I'll just talk about book reviewing for a moment. You don't want academics who can't speak the language. And one of the curses of academia, I can tell you this from editing the TLS for 4 years, is the rise of jargon and gobbledygook, because it's what people get their PhDs checked on, and it means they're not encouraged to think and write beautifully. They're encouraged to think and write in the form of a certain jargon that fits the mystery of their profession. It's awful, it's terrible, because you end up locking out clever people because they can't communicate. So we want academics who can talk like normal people, because if you're really clever, a test of your cleverness is your ability to communicate broadly. So I'd be thrilled to have people from universities in. Actually, we're going to be looking quite often at the future of universities, how universities will work, and the role and function of them. But I think academics who can talk and can be brilliant, and if they're brilliant and warm, they'll have a home on here. And I'm quite keen to develop a family of people, actually. For each show, I'm thinking about Breakfast, my own show, I'd love it if we have 40 or 50 contributors who come on all the time, because I think listeners can then say, oh, I've heard that person before, I like that person, I can see why they've got them on again. And you build that sense of community. And I think for a breakfast show, that's really important. I want people to turn on the radio and feel they're part of the gang, and they know who's there. My formative radio experience was when I was a teenager. Radio 1 had a show Mark Radcliffe presented with Mark Riley. It was called the Mark and Lard Show. They did a breakfast show eventually, which didn't really work. But their evening show at 10 till 12 was this fantastic, clever, warm, funny thing. They had a rolling routine of guests who were really good. I was 15, 16 doing GCSEs at the time, so 10 till 12 was quite a nice hour for me. But I always think about that when I think about radio, actually. I think of that sense of community, of finding people that you want to listen to. And then we've got to build that, and we've got to build that up, I think.